It's my great pleasure to introduce you to our speaker today. Kat Martin is a theater director, an educator, and an immersive experience maker. She's the co-founder and the art director of Mixed Metaphors Productions. I love this mission. They are an artist collective that disrupts narratives of erasure through immersive theater, art installations, and oral histories, and it's rooted here in Charlotte. Now, I want you to hear that again, an artist collective that disrupts narratives of erasure through immersive theater, art installations, and oral histories. Is there any wonder why we wanted her to speak to you today? They've put on some incredible productions over the last few years. Fix a Plate, Swim Cap, and Kudzu last year. An incredible immersive experience about gentrification in Charlotte. We've said on this stage many times that we have a theater challenge in Charlotte, and that does not mean a lack of theater talent. We have a lack of spaces where theater can happen. Both film, and thank God for the IPH, and for the work that Brad and his team have done tirelessly to bring a wide array of diverse film to Charlotte, but theatrical productions. The thing about art is that art has an incredible ability to overlay with issues and things that we need to talk about that don't get talked about, that are taboo, that are upsetting, possibly not really, but that hold us back from talking about the things and experiencing the things that matter. And with Mixed Metaphor, they are taking us to places where the topics that we won't talk about, that we don't have a reason to not talk about them. They put on productions that compel us. And after today, I promise you, you won't want to miss a Mixed Metaphor production. And for that, I bring out the incredible Kat Martin. Get up here. Good, you are welcome. Okay, I'll follow you.
I'm trying not to be a prop comic while I have these cards and this clicky thing and a different mic. Thank you. Oh, wait. You're good. Is it on? Oh, it is. Wonderful. Well, good morning, creatives. It's been an energizing morning for sure, and I am so excited to be with you here today to explore the theme of parallel. My name is Kat Martin, and I've never been called the main event before, so I'm feeling really good about that. And I am a theater director and educator, and as Tim said, the artistic director and co-founder of Mixed Metaphors Productions. I have always been curious about the way that theater can take up space intentionally. And as a native Charlottean, something I am very proud about, right? I really wanted to think about how theater can be used to create change in my hometown. So, as we're considering the theme of parallel today, I wonder, how can theater facilitate an audience to draw parallels between their lives and the lives of their neighbors? Between the headlines and their dining room tables? Between the past, present, and future? Now, at Mixed Metaphors Productions, play is the primary modality that we use to make our work. So, in the spirit of that, I've structured this morning to be like a workshop. So you will have the opportunity to see and feel parallels as we create a theatrical moment together right here in this room. We're going to use Mixed Metaphors' most recent production, Kudzu, A Story of Belonging, as inspiration. And in case you missed it this summer, I have a little recap.
Have some light refreshments and take a look at the many properties and tips and tricks we have posted around the room. As you explore, just remember, I'm already accepting offers on this property. This one won't last long. You may meet other Enderley Park residents on today's tour. And if you act fast, they could be your new neighbors. Is everybody ready to begin today's presentation?
Yes!
Wonderful!
Y ya cuando no queda más, se siente el temblor. cuando no queda más, la luna me canta.
Come on in, everyone. Come.
We just went through something similar to this. It was on another site with more like family and with the We Buy Your Home issues going on.
What can I do to get you to move forward selling it quickly? You know what? Don't even answer that. Listen, you take my card and you give me a call when you're ready to sell, okay? Flippity floppity, baby. Don't you forget. All right?
At the part in the room where the lady did the monologue on family and the house and the memories, that touched me because we live in our grandparents' home. It's a home where we grew up, all our memories are there.
Please take notice that pursuant of your mortgage agreement, you are justly indebted. Justly indebted. There's nothing just about this. Kicking me out of my home?
Had cookouts, Christmas, all those things, and then the fact that we came so close to losing it.
I have been covered up, swept under a rug, and grown over. I've been pushed to the margins, priced out, obscured by the creeping entwined vines of progress and development. In a time where Tuckasegee is called Lower Tuck, Oakhurst is called Mora, and South Boulevard has long since transformed into South End. I can hardly recognize myself.
The thought of having to leave it and be left out trying to figure out where to go, I mean, this really touched us.
So long, 2916 Parkway Avenue. May the new owners build beautiful memories that are not torn down.
We're real proud of it. So that is what the end of a mixed metaphors process looks like. And I want to rewind and take us back to the beginning and explore how we use parallels to create our work. So what is parallel? Parallel is lying or moving in the same direction, but always the same distance apart. I think about parallel lines running down the middle of a highway. And when I was considering this, I found 3 points of connection with mixed metaphors work. The first being growing and building simultaneously. The second, drawing parallels. And the third is that because opposites are always true, parallel implies a moment of intersection. And I came up with this little handy-dandy formula. Growing and building simultaneously, plus drawing parallels, plus a moment of intersection, gives us an experiential language of connection and disruption. And that is the mixed metaphors process. So the first piece of our equation, growing and building simultaneously. There's something kind of subversive about thinking about a parallel line. That means that there are 2 parallel lines and things can be built underneath the line on top. There are 2 realities, and what you build in one will impact the other. Kind of like the pea in The Princess and the Pea. A small disruption on the ground level will translate and be amplified when it reaches the top line. We have to imagine the world we want to live in while the world we currently live in continues. When we create with mixed metaphors, we create pieces of a puzzle and we don't even know what the picture is going to be. But we create all of these pieces in parallel, in the same room, at the same time. We create as many pieces as we can. We are inspired by our research, our community collaborators, and the dreams of the community. Building simultaneously and intentionally allows us not to impose our idea of what the work should be, but to allow the work to speak for itself and for the community to speak for itself. So let's put a little bit of this into practice, and we're gonna build our first puzzle piece today. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Handy dandy brainstorm. Never discredit the power of a brainstorm. And as always, there are no wrong answers in a brainstorm. So I invite you to consider the statement, I know I'm home when. What words, phrases, or emotions would you fill in that blank with? How do you know when you are home? So I know I'm home when. If you'd like to share, I invite you to raise your hand, and I'm gonna kind of point at you, and I wish there was a less rude way, but here we are. Here in the back in the glasses. When my dog loses his mind. Yes, 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 yes. So I'm gonna kind of take that and translate it into a warm welcome. Does that feel good? Yeah, a warm welcome. I saw a hand over here. Yeah, right here.
I know I'm home when I'm safe and cozy.
Safe and cozy. I like that it's both. I like to feel safe and cozy. Thank y'all so much for sharing something kind of personal with us today about what home feels like. And we're gonna come back to this idea of a warm welcome and safe and cozy as we continue to build parallel pieces this morning. So, the first part of our equation is drawing parallels. The second. The space between parallel lines is a very fruitful space for discovery. Theater artist Bertolt Brecht knew how much we can cultivate in the space between the lines. He used tools that created distance between the audience and the art. It might be like putting a contemporary story in a historical time period. He used super titles. He would even project newspaper articles above the action of the play. We can use abstraction to create the space so that the audience can consider the action in a new way. It's kind of like looking at something from a safe distance. It activates your brain and your gut at the same time, taking them on simultaneous parallel journeys. For us, we want to create an experience that drops you in, but where you are in it, not of it. Allowing yourself to get swept up and remain analytical at the same time so you can draw those parallels. Now, we're gonna build a physical moment that sits on top of our brainstorm. For this part, I've asked some of my lovely family/teammates from Mixed Metaphors Productions to help me out. Come on up. Snaps and claps. Woo! This is Andrea Patterson. She is our community engagement director and the director of textile art. And this is Hazel Doherty, who is our production manager and who literally nothing could happen without her. I can't stress that enough. If you're a production manager, I love you. And I understand. So what we're gonna do today is we're going to translate that feeling and that thought into a physicality. So I'm gonna ask my actors to take a slow 5 count and create a living statue that embodies the feeling of a warm welcome. Feel free, shake it, shake it, shake it, take some breath, spread out, whatever you need to do. And we're looking at a warm welcome. Here we go, breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A pose that shows a warm welcome. That's great. So, what would happen if y'all turned your bodies and kind of made a V so that you're facing each other? Great. Oh, look, this is so very charming. And what would happen if you were making eye contact and you put 1 foot forward so it looks like it's a snapshot? Hazel, can you trade your feet? Acting. Use your upstage feet. Oh my gosh. So actors, make any adjustment that you need so that you can comfortably exist in this position. Does this feel like a warm welcome? We like that? I like it too. All right, lock that in, and we're gonna come back to it. Thank you, actors, non-actors. Snaps and claps. I'm gonna call you back up here to sign up. So the last piece of our equation is that parallel implies moments of intersection. Social practice art asks, where is the art? For us, the art lies in your experience of it. A shared community experience of a novel moment. What we make is the catalyst. So, the point where all the parallels intersect lives in the moment when the audience can connect the work to the society that we live in and we want to shape. We're going to add one more parallel layer on top of our theatrical moment, and then we'll see what connections you see in the work. I always hate saying the work. It's so artisty, but I really don't know what else to call it. In this beautiful thing, it's a beautiful thing that we're making. So I want to add a little bit of text on top of this. Up here, I have a newspaper article from the Charlotte Observer about housing justice. And you can see down here on the bottom, who should control the housing? The people who live in it. And we're going to use that as a call and response today. When I say, who should control the housing, you'll say, the people who live in it. Great. Who should control the housing? The people who live in it. Who should control the housing? The people who live in it. Beautiful. All right. Let's get our actors right back on up here. Snaps and claps, snaps and claps. And we're also going to add a layer of abstraction by using a piece of music Lisa Ortiz composed specifically for kazoo. If y'all want to start on the edges, and what we're going to do, when you hear Lisa's most beautiful voice, oh my gosh, y'all aren't even ready. I want you to slowly, almost like you were underwater, walk towards each other and land in that pose that we created. Really take your time. All right, for the rest of us, when you hear who should control the housing, you will say, the people who live in it. Wow. Our ensemble is growing. All right, so let's see what happens if we take all these items that we've built in parallel and create a moment of intersection. Who should control the housing? The people who live in it. Who should control the housing? The people who live in it. Who should control the housing? The people who live in it.
Who do we assign the thorns to? How are we chosen to be safe? To stay safe. One by one, the petals fade just blow away, and all that's left is the bleeding hands of the one that has to stay.
Who should control the housing? The people who live in it. Who should control the housing? The people who live in it. Thank you. Oh man, we made a thing. We totally made a thing. And when we make at Mixed Metaphors, we'll be creating things in like 5 different rooms with 5 different kinds of artists. Bambi, I'm going to shut you out. You're in the front. You hate this, but I don't care. We love you. One of our incredible visual and digital artists. And you'll hear different people from different rooms yelling, "That's a thing." We don't know what it is, but we know it's a thing. So I really appreciate y'all experimenting and exploring this theme of parallel with us today. I hope that you felt those moments of connection that are going to encourage you to draw parallels. Even when you're driving away from here today, you'll see these questions around housing justice no matter where you're driving into the city. Now, I'm sure you're just sitting there like, how can I support Kat and Mixed Metaphors? I really liked that thing she just did. Don't worry, there are tons of ways you can support us. And real talk, we need support right now. My home and the Mixed Metaphors studio was driven through by a car at the end of 2024. We lost literally everything. So we are hosting a supply drive right now for everything from pencils to power tools. You can always donate to Mixed Metaphors Productions. And we are really excited. We're hosting a gala on the 5th at the Arts Plus Community Campus. And I think so too. And you can get tickets for that. We hope to see you out at the lobby at our table where we can continue to discuss the theme of parallels and where you can do any of those fine things that I just mentioned and pick up a copy of our Mixed Metaphors zine. Again, my name is Kat Martin. My Instagram handle is Kmart Theater Art. We are Mixed Metaphors Productions. Our Instagram handle is Mixed Metaphors Productions. And I cannot wait to meet you.
Kat Martin, everybody!